As I mentioned in a previous video about some new acquisitions that I got thanks to some Patreon support, I was able to get some brand new VivTech products that are some really cool LED UVB bulbs. These things are absolutely amazing. They have a 3-year lifetime warranty. They have a 3-year lifespan, I should say. These guys are really cool, and I'm actually going to do a setup and a couple different videos of both of these, of the Sure Sun of the 3-watt of the jungle cover and of the 3-watt Sure Sun midday blaze. This is basically for like tortoises, your high desert animals like Cyclura, where like the sun's beating down on them all day on that sand, bearded dragons, uromastyx, Ackie monitors, that sort of thing. The jungle cover is more for more crepuscular animals. This is what I will be for the most part using for a lot of my snakes. And so today we're going to get started on setting up this cage, and I'm going to monitor it over the next couple days and watch the behavior of my animals change a little bit. We're going to do the northern pine snake Shoshone with the Sure Sun in this 4x2 enclosure right here, and we're going to do the midday blaze for Remus, our red Ackie monitor. So just to show you guys a little bit, so they're number one has this absolutely really cool little packaging right here. It shows, and as well as a lot of other UV bulbs, it has kind of the cool little ranges like that. Shows a little bit on the back about these guys. And here you go, as I talked a little bit about some of the suggestions for the different animals right there. So what's really cool about these LEDs is that they made it so that way they removed the UVC that's present in LED bulbs, which is why we haven't been able to use them on reptiles really for a long time. That's why we've been forced to use halogen and fluorescent bulbs until partnered up with a couple different people internationally. They figured out how to remove that dangerous, harmful UVC that can negatively affect reptiles and have it so it just emits the proper wavelengths of UVA and UVB for the appropriate species. So it's really cool, nice little compact, really cool bulb. It's plastic coating, so it's very difficult for animals to break. They actually have a video on VivTech of them hammering a nail into a board. So we're going to take here, and it screws in just like any other regular register for outlets, like so. And so in here, this is the really cool little 4x2 enclosure. So this is the northern pine snake. I'm going to go grab Shoshone a second because she's moving up and getting upgraded, and I'm going to take another animal, and we're gonna do some rotating and switching around. So in here, I have a more naturalistic setup for them. So it's this 4x2 enclosure. Don't mind that little tape in the background. It's just snake proofing basically, because that little back register where the cable went was a little loose. But I have plenty of leaf cover for her to bury in because pine snakes love to do that, as well as plenty of hides. We have this big cork tube there. We have this really cool hide there that also gives a branch platform for basking. A big heavy-duty branch that's weighted down. Another one right here. We don't have natural pine in here, but we have some really cool artificial ones and pine cones, as well as this to register the temp in here to keep an eye on that. And I'm gonna go get Shoshone and put her in here, put some water in here ready to roll, and then we're gonna kind of just keep an eye on her for the next couple days. All right, so as I said before, I'm gonna go grab Shoshone. So Shoshone is a northern pine snake. It's one of the larger species of Pituophis in that genus. Bull snakes being the largest, and the northern pines probably coming up right in there. Don't have a known locality on her, but looking at her coloration, she's probably from the northern part of her range. She looks pretty similar to her future boyfriend Apache that we have, who is in fact an Ocean County, New Jersey locale. Essentially, we picked this girl up because she was being neglected from a place. A guy got her out of there, and then his life situation changed, and so we ended up getting Shoshone. So she's always done very well in a 36 Exoterra. We tried to put her into a Christmas tree tub, and she stressed out. She stopped eating, got really huffy and hissy. So hopefully she's going to do really well in this, where she has this big wide open glass area for her to hang out and watch, because that's kind of what she likes to do. And we're going to see how she does with this awesome VivTech Sure Sun jungle cover bulb. And so like I said, we're going to pop her in here and see how she does, and we're going to watch her behavior and see what that VivTech bulb and having that UVA and UVB on her will change versus keeping her in a rack or something similar. So here we go. Come on in, Shoshone. You got this. I know you're gonna have fun in here. So there is in fact a reason why I chose Shoshone to put the new Sure Sun light bulb on her. So Pituophis in general, but pine snakes are very intelligent, very inquisitive animals, and they're actually a little bit more active during the day, so a little bit more diurnal than a lot of other snake species that we, in fact, work with commonly. And she's, in fact, so intelligent and inquisitive that a lot of times, for this about 2 week period that I had to watch and monitor her, I would have to set up a tripod and time lapse her moving across over periods of between 4 and 12 hours. And we can see her over this first one was about 8 hours of her just kind of moving around the tank, spending different amounts of time underneath the UVB light. Now it's really dark right now. That's her over there in that hide, mostly sleeping under that big log versus the hide underneath the UVB bulb. But she did start to exhibit some behaviors that I anticipated, as well as I knew she would throw me a couple curveballs. So obviously, snakes have been found to, in fact, seek out specifically UVA and UVB lighting separately and independently from heat, where they would spend time underneath the heat to warm them up, to get their metabolisms going so they can start cruising around looking for food or doing other snake things that they do, as well as they start to hang out under that light for their required ultraviolet needs. And that's in fact what she did. Other than every single time when I would come over, and as you can see, immediately just check me out and wondering what I was doing, she would spend a lot of time cruising in and around the light, but she wouldn't necessarily spend a lot of time directly under there. She never fully basked like you would see a lizard or even some snakes like a garter snake. She never completely fully basked out on top of her hide directly under that bulb. And it's a lower wattage one. It doesn't put out as much as everything. So this was the Sure Sun Jungle cover. So this is the one that's good for a lot of animals that cryptid bask, have a lot of dilution between the canopy and leaves and things like that. This was after about 5-6 days of her checking things out, getting used to the thing, to where I finally saw her for a prolonged period of partial basking. So this is her right underneath the light, but not for an extended period of time. This was about 20 minutes or so, not her full body and never once. But overall, I've noticed that her behavior has changed to where she's very active during certain periods where we would see activity in wild snakes during certain periods of time. So early in the morning, into the early evening, and then right at night is when she's most active. And the rest of the time she spends typically giving more wild behaviors than we would see in, say, a animal that is in captivity, where they're mostly active at night versus not. So I absolutely enjoyed trying this out with Shoshone. So if anyone has any questions, want to check that out, you can go click the link down in my bio, and don't forget to use my affiliate code JZ'sReps322 for a discount offer on those bulbs. Hope you're having a great day, and we will check you next time.